love covering forbidden archaeology, especially the ancient and modern day mystery about giants. Now I have covered a lot of these stories in my previous videos, but I have just recently learned of another amazing location where it is believed that giants still exist. Now the Solomon Islands is a place known as a land that time forgot, and the locals believe that giants still inhabit these lands. They believe that these giants live in a massive underground city, and they can travel pretty much undetected by modern man by using a massive underground tunnel system that they built. Now what's really odd about these claims is there are legends about giants that once lived in Romania, and these legends state that these giants also built massive underground cities, and they also built and traveled through tunnel systems, making me wonder, could these stories possibly be true? Now there are tons of very interesting stories about giants in the Solomon Islands, making people believe that the locals might just be right. One very strange encounter happened in 1988 when a bulldozer broke down. After inspection, they discovered that a pin that held a 10-ton blade broke. So they left the blade and sent the bulldozer back for repairs. The next day, they went to go retrieve the blade, but the blade was nowhere to be seen. Now the workers were really shocked and confused as this blade weighed about 10 tons and no one within that area, except for them, had the equipment to move something this heavy. And when they started to do a little detective work, they stumbled upon some huge footprints. And as they were following these huge human footprints, they found the blade about 100 meters away. And this terrified the workers. Another very interesting encounter happened when some government employees were driving up Gold Ridge to survey the surrounding areas. Now the road was very slippery at that time due to all the rain, and their car slipped off the road and it got stuck. So the government workers decided to walk back to the closest town that they just passed to get help. And they were able to get about 30 volunteers as the men within this village were very eager to help. Now as they were getting closer to their car, they were shocked as they saw that somehow their car was back on the road. Then they saw what appeared to be two very tall men standing next to the car. But as they kept getting closer and closer, they realized that these were not normal men. They were giants, and they all agreed that they had to have been at least 15 feet tall. Now in World War II, it was a top priority for the Allies to take control over the Solomon Islands, and the Japanese was not going to give up without a fight. But the Japanese started to encounter something a lot more terrifying than the Allied soldiers. Now when the Japanese started going deeper in the jungle on recon missions, they started to hear very loud noises at night, such as wailing, loud footsteps, and branches being broken from the trees. And these very unusual noises started to scare the soldiers. Then they came face to face with the giants that were making all this noise, and the soldiers were so terrified that they opened fire. But the bullets had little to no effect whatsoever, except for making these giants very, very angry. Now all throughout the rest of the war on Solomon Island, there were reports coming in about giants, and sometimes these giants would charge and ravage whole squads, and sometimes they would snap whole trees in front of the soldiers in an amazing display of power. Now the eyewitnesses described these giants to be about 15 feet tall, and they were covered with red hair, and they had exceptionally long and powerful arms. Now these are some pretty amazing stories coming from Japanese soldiers and officers. I mean, it just blows my mind. Could there actually be giants living on these islands? And another thing that stood out to me is the red hair. The Native Americans have legends going back for centuries stating that their ancestors fought epic battles against giants that had red hair. Now there are so many sightings and face-to-face encounters with giants on the Solomon Islands, making me wonder why nobody is looking into this. Now I do know there is an expedition planned, but I'm not sure when this is going to happen. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on this, and I will keep you guys updated.